Welcome, everyone, to another amazing topic of conversation. Thank you to our sponsors, the Health Channel. So please sign up for everything that you need regarding your health. And to Alexa's Workspace, if you ever need any type of space when you work, she can literally make anything available, even at the last minute, or a virtual office, a boardroom, or anything that you might need. But now to our guest. So, Short Chef, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here this morning.
It is a pleasure having you, and even a bigger pleasure to know that you are on board for the Teen Culinary Challenge.
It's my great pleasure to be a part of something as important as that.
So tell me, first I want to know why the name Short Chef.
Well, I did go to cooking school when I was much younger, and I walked in the kitchen. It was hot. You know, kitchens were not air conditioned back then, and I went back to my dorm, put on shorts. So now I come in with a chef jacket and a silly paper hat. And I was bullied. I think bullying was invented back then, and the chefs from all around the world were the instructors, and they said, you can't wear shorts in the class. I said, well, it's hot in the class. If I wear shorts, I'll be a better student. And I did that, and they continued to bully me, and finally they said, we're going to call you Short Chef. And I said, okay, call me whatever you want. So through that year that I was there, I got called Short Chef by everybody. Years later, many years later, I'm asked to teach cooking at my son's school in All Angels Academy in Miami Springs, and people knew me as my name, Chef Ray. And my son one night said, Dad, it's so boring. That guy we met, that Bam guy in New Orleans, you know, he had his own name too. He said, what did they call you when you were younger? I said, they called me Short Chef. He goes, of course, you're only 5'5.5". I said, no.
I thought it was because of that too.
Yes, most people do. So I said, no, I wear shorts when I cook, and I got the nickname Short Chef, and it has kind of stuck. I mean, the world knows me. Most people know me, my family, my friends, my doctors. When they see me, hey, Short Chef, how are you? But it's not the Short Chef. So here is the Short Chef, because then people think I'm a midget or could be in the Wizard of Oz, and you know, something like that. But I go by Short Chef.
That's great. So tell me your story.
Well,
the love for food.
The love for food and the pleasure of my life growing up in New York with my parents and my family, growing up in New York City and then moving out to Long Island, but always in the kitchen. Always in the kitchen. I was fascinated with my mother's cooking, my father's cooking. But prior to that, my grandfather had a bar and a restaurant in Brooklyn, and on my birthday, my ninth birthday, he took me there, and I thought it was a party. And he gave me an apron, said, "You're going to bus tables." And I said, "Bus tables, Grandpa? What is that?" And he said, "You're going to pick up plates, but every Saturday morning, you're going to work there just Fridays after school, and I'll pay you $25." Well, $25 back then
was a lot of money.
Sure. And then the next year, it's my 10th birthday, takes me to the restaurant. It's got to be a party for me. He takes me in the kitchen. He gives me a rubber apron and says, there's those dishes and pots. Every Friday you wash them. But I'm going to pay you $40. Again, $40 back there. I was like rich at 10 years old. And there was a beautiful lady in the kitchen, rather large, but very beautiful, named Maria. And the menu was Italian. It was spaghetti and meatballs with Caesar salad. It was homemade ravioli, some stuffed shells, some tiramisu, minestrone, very small. And the waiters would stick their head through the door and say, "I need 3 Caesar salads. I need 2 minestrone soups." And so, of course, when I got there was no dirty dishes. And she started saying, "Hey, little one." He called me little one. And she started teaching me everything. I made soups for weeks. You know, I made tiramisu for weeks. And months go by, and one night, Maria don't show up. And so at 10 years old, the waiters are screaming. So I started cooking, and not everything went perfect, but I cooked 78 people the first time I ever did it at 10 years old.
At 10 years old. Wow.
Yeah. And the next morning, my grandfather came to my house, kissed me and hugged me, looked at my parents and said, "Maria is off every Friday night, and you, my grandson, are cooking." I'm 10, Grandpa, I'm 10. But I'm going to pay you what I pay Maria. I'm going to give you $100. And he pulled out a bill, this piece of paper. I never even seen it. I said, well, I'm getting $100. And I cooked for all year, many years. And I wish I saved the money. And so that got me into enjoying. Plus, my parents, we would go before my brothers and sisters were born. We would go to Manhattan's every week. When I was younger, we eat Chinese, we eat Greek, we eat Afghanistan, we eat Indian food, we eat Jewish food, and that's what we did. And I got such a love for tasting different foods at a very young age. And as I grew up, I went into the United States Navy during the Vietnam War. Fascinating. And I was on a nuclear powered submarine for 4 years under the water with
Okay.
120. Huh? No, no, no. Isn't that funny? I was what's called a yeoman. I worked directly for the captain. I was like his personal secretary. I hated the job at first, but then I loved it because I was like so important. And we had these Filipino guys in the kitchen, fascinating, and they did all the cooking 24 hours. You could eat steak and lobster anytime you want. And so you would spend 70 days out under the water, undetected. And one day the captain said, he said, listen, I'm tired of the food. I said, Captain, let me cook for you. So I started cooking once a week on Sundays for these 12 officers. And then one time when we went to Annapolis, he sent me to the Navy cooking, it's a culinary class for Navy. It's no longer there anymore. And I spent 2 weeks, 14 days in a row, 12 hours a day in the kitchen. Again, learning experience. When I got out of the Navy, I did what I thought was fun. I'm a funny guy. I waited tables and bartended. One of my great jobs was here in Miami at Joe's Stone Crab. Did that for 7 years as a waiter and bartender. And then moved to Colorado, great place called Durango, Colorado. Stayed in food and beverage business, and then to Charleston, South Carolina in the food and beverage business. And then I was discovered by these people from Kiowa Island. And they took me out there and said, listen, you're too smart. Why don't you manage our restaurants? So I had never managed before, but I'm a pretty smart New Yorker. So I started winging it and got into food and beverage management and went with them from Kiowa to Destin, Florida. And in Destin, Florida, met some other people, and they took me into the Hyatt. And my first job was the Grand Cypress, the most beautiful hotel still today I was ever associated with. And I became the manager of a great restaurant called Hemingway's. And then after a couple of years, I said, I'm pretty smart, but I'm getting older. And I went into food and beverage management, became a food and beverage director at Marco Island, and then Crown Plaza here in Miami, and then to New Orleans, and back from New Orleans before Katrina, and then to Aruba, and then to Clearwater. And so I've traveled all around. Then I got tired of working for people, and I started doing catering. And then it moved on. And then again, I started getting calls to do weddings and quinces and always as short chef. Everything stayed as short chef, just came common to me. And then I retired. And then I got the phone call again, from the city of Hialeah. Says, short chef, can you teach kids? I go, yeah, I think I can, And I started in the city of Hialeah teaching 25 summer camps, quite a program. And it's just continued. And here, so many years later, I mean, I work at Miami-Dade College, Kendall. I teach summer camps there and spring break there. I get called from hospitals and different schools at Cutler Bay Park. And it leads me up to today, where I just began the biggest project I've ever done in my life. Just started last week.
Retired, right?
Yeah, retired, but the phone keeps ringing. And people always ask me, hey, short chef, when are you going to stop? You're getting old there and up in age. I said, it's not work to me. My pleasure is to be with children, ages from 6 to 12, to adults. I do a lot of cooking at Fairchild Garden.
Please share what you're doing now.
It's amazing. This is so amazing. Well, let me share one thing. Probably people ask me, what was your greatest job? My greatest job was working at Bucky Dent in Hialeah. I worked 2 years, and I get a little emotional, forgive me, with special population families. I worked 30 population. They don't call them special needs up there, special population. And I would go there twice a month to spend 2 hours with the most wonderful people teaching them cooking. Of course, they couldn't do much, so I would do it and walk around the moon and make different recipes. But yeah, it was just the most amazing 2 years. And
What-
now, yeah, and
No,
and
now,
and now I get a phone call 2 weeks ago. It's fascinating. I tell you, I'm not the most religious guy, but I think this man upstairs throws me a bone every once in a while. And I get a call from a guy, George Lasso, and he says, "Okay, short chef, we're ready to go." I said, "George, what are you talking about?" He said, "Oh, you remember 2 years ago, we told you at the Miami-Dade Parks we're going to want to do a big program. We want to get a grant. We want to use you as for nutrition." I said, yeah, I remember that. And I said, a year later, we asked you for some financial stuff and what you would charge, like a proposal. Well, we're ready to go. I said, George, I don't know what you're talking about, ready to go. He says, well, next week on September the 5th, the day after Labor Day, you're going to go to one of our parks. I said, okay, it's called Naranja, down south a little bit. I said, okay, I can do that. And next day you're going to go to Wilbur Bell. Next day you're going to go Live Like Bell. I said, okay, I can do that. Only for an hour, chef. We only need you for an hour. I said, that's hard for me to do stuff in an hour. I need an hour and a half at least. I said, okay, George, I can do it. No. He said, but we want you to do it for 12 weeks from September, October, November. You'll go to 4 parks, Monday through Thursday, for an hour and a half. And you'll do that for 3 months. And then you go to 4 more parks and the same thing. You'll go there for an hour and a half, and you'll do that until March. And then March, April, and May, you're going to go to 4 more parks, and you're going to do this. So the total is 650 kids that I get to work with for 12 weeks at a time. What a beautiful opportunity for me
it's amazing.
to share, because everything is based with me about the 5 food groups. I design recipes, most interactive, so the kids take part. And it's just beautiful. It's just, and forgive me, I'm not getting, I'm getting up there in age, but it's not work to me. It's my pleasure. And the lady said to me, well, sure, when you do the proposal, you want to do it for all 5 years? And I'm thinking, 5 years? I'm happy where I am, so year to year, I have this great opportunity.
And you never have to say, I'm sorry for your age. On the contrary.
No, I don't
People
even
look up to you.
Yeah, I don't bring that up. The age is just a number, but I'm like I say, I'm a little bit older, and I won't share with you when I was born, but I'm not 25 anymore. But I feel great. I did have some serious
We have
health
the
problems.
experience.
What's that?
We have the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Life experience and cooking experience. I met some young chefs recently and said, "Why do you do this?" I said, "I love it. This is the passion I never believed that I would be a part of in my whole life. I've had such great life experiences with my wife and my son and my Cuban family now that I've been married to 30 years into. And I cook for them. I enter, these Cuban port people. They eat vegetables like they never ate before. And being the only chef in the family, I'm quite busy. But I'm blessed. I am super blessed to be where I am today.
and we are blessed that you're part of the Teen Culinary Challenge.
I'm so happy I'm so happy that you nice people contacted me.
So going back to a difficult time in your life, and I know that it changed a lot. Can you tell us what happened that you totally changed the way you're eating? You said that it saved your life.
Both my parents and my 4 grandparents all left this earth by having a heart attack. And I think it was their eating habits back there. I remember my mother, beautiful, put food down, and before my father did anything, he would take the salt shaker and he would just do this. I said, Dad, I always only never tasted the food, but they weren't, even though we had a garden and my mother grew beautiful vegetables, but salt and sometimes processed food, no sodas and things like that, but still. And here in 2006, I was cooking on Star Island for a famous basketball player, and I started getting some chest pains. So called my beautiful wife Ileana. She said, "Go to the emergency room after you're done, or go now." And I said, "No, I got to finish this dinner." And then went to Mercy Hospital, and they said, "Short chef, you're having a heart attack." And I was very scared because
and you finished cooking?
What's that?
You finished cooking
Oh,
before
yes,
going to nursing?
of course I did. Of
Of
course I did.
course.
That's what I do. And got to Mercy Hospital, said, Church, if you're having a heart attack. I said, okay, just give me a shot or a Band-Aid or whatever. I said, no, 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 no. We're putting you in the
Band-Aid?
hospital and we are going to operate on you. You're going to have triple bypass surgery. And I said, please, can you hold it off till the morning? And I, again, forgive me for I called everybody I love, my brothers, my sisters, my wife, of course, and my son. And I felt this was not going to end very well because of the history of my family. And anyway, open heart surgery, and the cardiologist I had at the time, he was very into eating healthy, and we started talking about eating better, and I changed. There was I don't drink soda. I don't do processed food very often, and and then I just started studying and studying and studying, and I said, okay, how can I make this a program? And everything I do, I promise you, is funny. If you would see me in action, I do a salad in a swimming pool. Yes, I do interactive
Need to see.
where kids have sand buckets, and it could be 50, and I put them out there, and who's got broccoli? Who's got baby corn? And they come in, they dump it in the pool. It's very fascinating. And I do macaroni and cheese, but I'll puree sweet potatoes or cauliflower or summer squash and I'll puree it and I'll add it to my cheese. And and I'll ask kids, who wants carrots? Who wants summer squash? They go, no, short chef. And who wants macaroni and cheese? Oh, we do. But I'll have, all of it. I'll bring it all together.
There.
Yeah. Sometimes I make macaroni and cheese pies. Sometimes I do macaroni and cheese cupcakes. Something to see the kids see that they can say, I'll eat a cupcake. And then after I'm done, I'll say, how is those macaroni and cheese with carrots? And they go, no, chef, you didn't do that. And so it's trickery a little bit. I learned that from Jerry Seinfeld's wife, who wrote a book on how she started putting vegetables in the middle of the night, get up and make recipes and put the vegetables, infuse them into their meals. And I said, well, I could do that. And so, but everything I do is for fun. Everything I do is for a laugh. I scream. I throw carrots. I very off the wall things that's not expected. And I think that's why I have such a great relationship with so many kids. I mean, this year by now, I've taught over 4,000 kids. By the end of the year, it should go up to 6,000 or 8,000, which is what I do each year. It's never changed. I mean, I don't know anybody else like me. Our parents come up to me and they say, Short Chef, there's people in other places that do what you do, but not like you do it. And that's a great compliment to me. A great compliment to me.
That's amazing because you impact kids and teach them all about the love of food.
That's correct. That's correct. If I get a vegetable, and I let them know. Again, I work with the 5 food groups. I first thing I talk to them about are fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. And I try to use those all the time as my, and I was doing this for on then. What really got me motivated is Michelle Obama, the Let's Move program. I joined the Let's Move program.
Yes.
And that had an big input on me. She contacted me. She saw videos in Miami on Channel 10 of Short Chef, and I just followed that program. It was like, again, I've been doing it. Now somebody with some power is making it happen even more. And then I'm sorry to say, COVID came. We changed the world. But during COVID, kids ate junk. Kids ate, it went back. Parents don't cook as much. So again, back to your problem, to have the opportunity to take young kids. I had a 10-year-old boy came up to me at this park the other day in Naranja, grabbed my chef jacket and says, I want to be a chef like you. I said, then I will work with you. And he's 10 years old. And I'm going, here's a probably not from a great financial background, I'm guessing. And
those kids.
it's those kids that will be the future of what happening. And there's so much happening, in the food business, but I think a potato will always be a potato. A carrot will always be a carrot. Make your food fancy or any way you want, but at the end of the day, we'll eat carrots and potatoes and maybe 100% beef hot dog. I'm not sure what it is, but to have the opportunity to take a child and groom them into, because we eat. I share with all the kids. What do we do every day? Well, I don't
Correct.
care. I don't care how rich you are, how poor you are. We eat. People on the earth, sometimes it's a handful of rice, but some people have a lot of money and they eat, but you will always eat. When I go to career days, and I put myself in the last position always. And I go, there's always a doctor, a fireman, a policeman. And when it comes to me, I go, hello, my name is Short Chef, and I'm the most important person here. And they'll look at me and say, this doctor don't doctor every day. This teacher don't teach every day. You know what we do every day? We eat food. And that's what I'm all about, and that's what I want to help people do.
When my kids were little, I used to make eggplant souffle.
Oof.
And they loved it until one day they caught me doing it.
Yes.
And they saw that it was made out of eggplant.
Yes.
And that was the end of it.
Sure. Max, our son Max, who's now 26, he works at the Miami Children's Museum, still lives at home. The first 10 years of his life, he ate everything that way we made, from fruits and vegetables. Then he got to go to birthday parties. And then he came home and the world changed for him. There was so much soda. There was so much junk food. And he kind of, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to feed even my family sometimes, but I do the best I can, and I'll never stop. I'll never stop.
No, don't stop. Don't stop, because you have changed so many kids' lives. And I hope that everybody sees what we're doing. And please, to all the kids that and all the kids that are from 14 to 17, we want to teach you. We want to highlight you. We want to give you an opportunity to be part of the Teen Culinary Challenge.
You can count on me, my friend. You can count on me. I don't know you very well, and you don't know me very well, but when I dedicate myself to an invitation like you've extended to me, you can count on me 100%.
And it goes both ways.
Great.
So to everyone, Chef, thank you so much. And to everyone, please stay safe above all, and looking forward to next week's conversation. Have an amazing day.
Super. Thank you so much. Have a great day.